If you're a content creator, you absolutely know the feeling of just utter exhaustion from the daily grind. You know what I'm talking about, right? You're constantly refreshing your analytics, you're sweating over the tiniest little details, and honestly, it can feel like you're completely at the mercy of some invisible, unpredictable machine. Well, in today's explainer, we are unpacking a master business framework from our source material that can literally rescue you from that burnout. So let's just dive right into the deep end with this one. Why did my views drop from 1,000 to 300 today? This exact painful question is something almost every single creator has desperately asked themselves at some point. It causes immense panic. But our source material actually argues that asking this question is a symptom of a much deeper, underlying strategic flaw in how you're running your whole operation. Because what happens is that initial panic, it just cascades into a million other micro obsessions. You start agonizing over things like, should my short be 8 seconds or 50 seconds? Horizontal or vertical? Which language setting? Should my subtitles be burned directly into the video or uploaded as a separate file? You could literally ask 1,000 questions just like this. And it creates this endless, exhausting treadmill where you're just chasing algorithm updates and minor technical tweaks. It completely drains your creative bandwidth. To fix this, here's our roadmap for this explainer. We're going to look at the creator's shallow anxiety, break down the Dao Fa Shu key framework, explore massive case studies like Amazon and Costco, solve some common creator problems, and finally, chart a real path to long term success. Starting right off with section one, the creator's shallow anxiety. Let's talk about why obsessing over those tiny technical details is actively stunting your growth. There's a real conflict happening here. On one side, you've got this rigid, almost religious obsession with technical rules. It's like thinking you absolutely have to hit upload at exactly 8 p.m. and click the mouse with your left hand, or the algorithm will punish you. It essentially turns content creation into a superstition. And when you operate like that, you become just like a replaceable worker on an assembly line, endlessly tightening the same screws. On the flip side, though, is the freedom to actually improve your core skills. When you stop obsessing over the small stuff, you get your mental energy back. You become the architect of your own business, making content that genuinely connects with people. And that brings us to section two, which lays out the ultimate rescue plan for burnt out creators, the Dao Fa Shu key framework. So, what is this? It's an ancient philosophical framework broken down into four distinct levels. At the very bottom rung, you have Qi, which translates to tools or instruments. Think of your camera or your editing software. Right above that is Shu, representing tactics or exactly how you use those specific tools. Moving up, we hit Fa, which are your core laws or overarching methods. And sitting at the absolute top is Dao, the fundamental principles or truths. The big issue today is that most creators are completely trapped at the bottom, endlessly agonizing over tools and tactics. It's absolutely crucial to see the stark difference in these mindsets. The Shu and She mindset is obsessed with absolute binary answers. They want to know, is it yes or no, black or white? This guarantees endless anxiety every single time a platform updates a feature. But the Dao and Fa mindset, that is a deep cognitive strategy rooted in universal human nature. It accepts that tools are going to change constantly, but human desires, what people actually care about and want to watch, those remain remarkably stable over time. Once you understand the Tao, you can pick up and adapt to any new tool without breaking a sweat. Let's move to section three, case studies. We're going to ground these abstract concepts by looking at two familiar billion-dollar corporate empires. It is so fascinating to break down two completely different approaches that are both wildly successful. Take Amazon. Their Tao, their poor, unshakable principle, is offering vast selection, lightning fast delivery, and low costs. So, to serve that principle, their Shu, or their tactic, involves creating infinite choices and building incredibly complex global logistics. Now, look at Costco. Their core principle is totally different: high quality and fixed margins. So their tactic is to offer a highly curated, limited selection where they pre-screen the absolute best items for you and only add a strict 8 to 10% markup. If eggs get cheaper for Costco to buy, the price you pay on the shelf drops immediately. What's brilliant here is that neither approach is universally right or wrong. They both work spectacularly well because their core principles perfectly align with different aspects of human psychology. You know, some people want the infinite, limitless choice of Amazon. Other people just want to save the time and mental energy of deciding, so they let Costco curate the best option for them. Both companies succeed on a massive scale because they deeply understand their audience's fundamental needs. All right, section four. Let's take all of that high level corporate logic and actually apply it directly to you. We're going to rapidly resolve the most annoying questions creators deal with every day. Here's a huge one right now. Is using AI going to get my channel banned? Creators are terrified of this, desperately searching forums for a definitive answer. But let's look at the reality impartially for a second. Major tech platforms like Google, for example, literally pioneered the AI revolution. It is their technology. They are highly, highly unlikely to execute some sweeping blanket ban on the exact same tools they are spending billions to develop and promote. This is exactly where that mindset trap catches us. The shoe mindset is panicking, demanding a binary yes or no answer about AI. But the Tao mindset, that mindset realizes AI is just a chi. It's just an instrument. So should you use it? Well, it depends entirely on your specific context. If it helps you efficiently create content that your viewers genuinely want to watch, absolutely use it. If it makes your content robotic and terrible, don't use it. The tool itself is completely neutral. What matters is how it serves your core principle. Let's circle back to that painful opening question and see how our new perspective changes things. Why did my traffic suddenly drop from 1,000 to 100? Let's re examine this through that advanced lens of the Tao framework. When you're stuck down in the lower tactical levels, you naturally assume there is one single definitive reason you messed up. You think, ah, man, I must have used the wrong hashtag. But in reality, traffic drops are multi causal. Human attention is finite, and it's completely impartial. Maybe a massive political news story just broke and is dominating the internet. Maybe it's a global sporting event like the World Cup, stealing everyone's focus. Sometimes it's just a totally normal algorithm fluctuation, and sometimes there are countless unseen variables you could literally never measure. Obsessing over a single cause is a waste of your time. The drop is just normal, which naturally brings us to our final section, the path to long term success. How do we actually build a sustainable, stress free content business? You really have to make a choice between these two paradigms. Being result oriented means you're just chasing a viral hit, crossing your fingers that you post one magical video that cures the internet's boredom so you can instantly retire. But content creation just doesn't work that way. It is fundamentally a repetitive long term game. You absolutely must be process oriented. You need to choose a niche based on your genuine interests or a clear path to monetization because you have to be able to consistently show up, improve, and provide value over the long haul without totally burning out. The source material offers this fantastic analogy to help visualize this. Step off the stage and sit in the audience seats. Think about it. If you are always up on stage under the bright lights, you probably think your performance is flawless. But if you walk down and actually sit in the fifth row, you might suddenly realize your voice is way too quiet or your hand gestures look super awkward from that angle. You have to constantly shift your perspective to understand exactly what your viewer is experiencing. You have to create what they actually desire, not just what you want to broadcast. Because at the end of the day, it all boils down to this incredibly powerful quote from the source. In the face of human nature, the algorithm is nothing. Just let that sink in for a second. Studying people, understanding what drives them, what they fear, and what they absolutely love is infinitely more lucrative and sustainable than studying code or trying to outsmart an ever changing algorithm. So, I want to leave you with this final, provocative thought to really challenge your strategy moving forward. Are you building a business based on unchanging human desires, or are you just desperately chasing the next algorithm update? Because if you can elevate your mindset from just obsessing over tools and tactics up to mastering principles and laws, you're not just going to survive the next big platform change, you are going to thrive. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and I'll see you next time.